Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember where we are and what we're doing and what we read?
Well, I believe we just finished Isaiah chapter 27.
That is correct.
And Leviathan died.
He did.
Poor guy. He met a untimely demise at the hand of God.
Sure.
Yeah, and then I think God did something good for Israel. He didn't kill them all or something.
Maybe. I'm not really sure.
I don't know either.
I stopped paying attention
thank you,
after
God,
Leviathan.
for not killing everybody.
Sure.
I guess.
If you say so.
I mean, whatever.
Something about grapes.
Dude's kind of a dick.
Oh, totally a dick.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was Isaiah chapter 27.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that today we're going to be getting into
Isaiah chapter 28.
Let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we are getting into Isaiah chapter 28.
Okay.
But before I start reading, I do want to preface this with a little bit of, I don't know, maybe a trigger warning. I don't know if that's quite the right term, but I want to put it out there that this chapter does a lot of condemning of alcoholism.
Oh.
And drinking to excess.
Okay.
And I know that we have more than one listener who is a recovering alcoholic. And so this might, I don't want anybody to hear this chapter and feel like we are condemning that state, because alcoholism is a disease. It runs in my family, and the condemnation that comes forth in this chapter is like, you suck if you drink.
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
You know what? Fuck you. No, that's not correct. That's not the way to treat people with addiction.
That's also not to say that you shouldn't try to seek help.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to put it out there before I start reading it, that's a topic that will be covered in today's chapter that is not going to sit well with me.
Sure.
And might not sit well with other listeners. And I always want to be inclusive, and I always want to be sensitive to what people might be going through.
Because I'm imagining there's no solutions given. They're just
praise
condemning
God.
it. Right.
Turn to God,
Yeah,
stupid.
exactly.
And I happen to know that that's not a thing.
Right.
So fuck off with that. All right. So woe to that wreath, which in other translations, it's woe to that crown.
Okay. All right.
The pride of Ephraim's drunkards. To the fading flower, his glorious beauty set on the head of a fertile valley. To that city, the pride of those laid low by wine. Okay? So that's how it starts.
Yeah.
And it's like only downhill from there.
Okay.
See, the Lord has one who is powerful and strong, like a hailstorm and a destructive wind, like a driving rain and a flooding downpour. He will throw it forcefully to the ground.
Okay.
That wreath, the pride of Ephraim's drunkards, will be trampled underfoot.
Why is this wreath or crown the pride of Ephraim's drunkards? I'm not understanding.
It's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing. The wreath, the crown they're referring to is the fact that Ephraim is, I believe, the capital city of one of these northern parts of Israel.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I'm trying to recall because I took some notes ahead.
Right.
And so that's why I recall that it said something about the wreath, the crown is referring to the capital.
Okay.
And so it's kind of saying that, you know, this beautiful city who is supposed to be like something that you look up to is taken over by drunkards.
Okay.
So it's shit is what they're saying.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see why I was a little like, let's just take a step back from that a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So like a hailstorm and a destructive wind, like a driving rain and a flooding downpour, he will throw it forcefully to the ground. That wreath, the pride of Ephraim's drunkards, will be trampled underfoot. Okay. That fading flower, his glorious beauty, set on the head of a fertile valley. So this town that is...
It's in a nice place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Set on the head of a fertile valley will be like figs right before harvest. As soon as people see them and take them in hand, they swallow them. So that has to do with like instant gratification.
Got it.
Okay. In that day, the Lord Almighty will be a glorious crown, a beautiful wreath for the remnant of his people. He will be a spirit of justice to the one who sits in judgment, a source of strength to those who turn back the battle at the gate. The battle being...
this is the people that are judging those who are drunkards and those who manage to use God to beat being drunk, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
This is a really weird chapter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, why do we need a whole fucking chapter about how shitty drunkards can be, I guess?
Well,
it's really, I mean...
I also protest the use of the word drunkard. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you drink alcohol to excess? You piece of shit.
Right.
Like,
no.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Calm your tits there, God.
I agree. It's just really weird. Like, of all the things that we could... I guess they condemn a lot of things, but this just seems so...
A whole chapter about it is just like, geez.
Right.
Like I said,
I mean, Leviathan's death only got like a couple sentences.
Right?
So, I mean,
Exactly.
kind of pissed off here.
Right? And these also stagger from wine and reel from beer. Priests and prophets stagger from beer and are befuddled with wine. They reel from beer. They stagger when seeing visions. They stumble when rendering decisions.
Hold on a second. Prophets?
Mm-hmm.
Prophets speak for God.
Mm-hmm.
They apparently talk to God.
Prophets and priests are drunkards in this town too.
Right. No, I understand that. But if God is referring to these people as prophets, these are God's people who are also drunk.
Yes.
And which is bad.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they prophets?
Because even though they're drunk, they still give prophecies.
But correct ones, because God has to give them.
Well, apparently, yes.
Okay, I'm.
Otherwise, they would be killed.
This
right?
just seems dumb.
It seems backwards.
Yeah,
like, if your people are problematic, then they shouldn't be considered your people. Then, right?
Right. Well, I mean, like, if they're not actual prophets of God, then you would say that they were false prophets, right? That would be the correct terminology there.
Yes.
But no, you're calling them prophets
and priests.
Priests, which lends to the fact that they are communicating with God.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're communicating with God, that means that God hasn't condemned them fully because he's still communicating with them.
With them, yes.
So
he's like saying, hey, you know how I talk to you? Stop being an alcoholic, though. And I'm like, but how about don't reward them then? I don't know.
Yeah, don't you stop talking. Like, if this is really a problem for you, right?
Yeah.
Don't you just stop talking to them at that point?
Or, I don't know, flip a switch and, like, soften their hearts.
Right, yeah.
Stop having them have this
Make them
affliction.
hate alcohol all of a sudden.
Right?
I'm sure you can do that.
You're God. All the tables are covered with vomit, and there is not a spot without filth.
Fuck.
This town is doity.
That's disgusting.
Right?
Yeah.
Who is it he is trying to teach? To whom is he explaining his message? To children weaned from their milk? To those just taken from the breast? For it is, do this, do that, a rule for this, a rule for that, a little here, a little there. Very well then, with foreign lips and strange tongues, God will speak to his people, to whom he said, this is the resting place. Let the weary rest. And this is the place of repose. But they would not listen.
Okay.
So then the word of the Lord to them will become, do this, do that, a rule for this, a rule for that, a little here, a little there. so that as they go, they will fall backward. They will be injured and snared and captured.
So I'm assuming this is to say that God is basically saying maybe that they're taking his words too literally, or that they're only seeing the punishment side of things and not the full message.
See,
or what I don't know.
The way I was taking it was he was saying, the more that you misbehave, the more that I have to make little rules, and then further little rules, and then even more little rules.
Okay.
I don't know if that's right.
I mean, that could be
just the way I was taking it.
Okay.
You're not paying attention, so I have to tell you, okay, do this, and then I have to tell you, do that, because you're not. So
is he basically blaming the entire book of Leviticus on drunkards? Then is that?
That's what it sounds like, right? Therefore, hear the word of the Lord, you scoffers who rule this people in Jerusalem. You boast, we have entered into a covenant with death. With the realm of the dead, we have made an agreement. When an overwhelming scourge sweeps by, it cannot touch us, for we have made a lie our refuge and falsehood our hiding place.
Oh, okay.
So,
they're literally telling God they made a covenant with death.
Sure.
Is that what's happening here?
I guess we'll die.
I don't think that's not what I would say to God.
No.
If I thought I was talking to God, I would not say, "Hey, dude, we made a covenant with death, and so we can't be touched. So fuck off."
Right?
Yeah, that's not how that conversation would go.
If you actually believe in God and you're talking to him, don't you be like, "I have a serious problem. Please help me with it." Right?
Also, if they're making covenants with death, they aren't putting a lot of stock in the power of God.
Right.
I'm just making an observation here.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
As usual, your people are flaky.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you are not showing yourself to be as powerful as you claim to be.
Let's put this out there. Every time you pull away from your people, a few generations of them haven't seen you and don't know you, and therefore start to believe in the things that they can see.
Right.
And so then you get mad at them even though you have been absent.
Right.
So maybe God be present in your people's lives and they will not fall away from you.
Right, right.
After all, as you continue to point out, we are but shitty humans. We are but born in sin and filth, dumb doo-doo brains, right?
Yeah.
So, if you're gonna be like that and you're gonna know that we are the stupids that we are, be present.
God's like the parent that pops out the kids and is like, "I made you."
Right?
They're just that's their whole basis for authority is, "I made you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then what else?
What else did you do?
What other things should I base that respect on, that authority on?
Because as the shitty teenager says, I didn't ask to be born. I mean, right?
Right.
It's not like I was like, I think I'll be born to human today.
No, you have to earn respect. You have to show reasons for people to give you respect. You can't just
be.
Right, yeah.
But that's exactly what the Christian apologist would tell you, is that, no, but he made us, and that is the gift he gave to us.
But even humans can't, you can't expect that in any relationship as a human.
Right.
Why would we expect that that's the case for our God?
Exactly.
He made us apparently in his image.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that the relationships would work much the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they don't.
They do not.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, they do not.
Right.
So, this is what the sovereign Lord says. See, I lay a stone in Zion, a tested stone, a precious cornerstone for a sure foundation. The one who relies on it will never be stricken with panic. I will make justice the measuring line and righteousness the plumb line. Hail will sweep away your refuge, the lie, and water will overflow your hiding place. Your covenant with death will be annulled. Your agreement with the realm of the dead will not stand. When the overwhelming scourge sweeps by, you will be beaten down by it. As often as it comes, it will carry you away. Morning after morning, by day and by night, it will sweep through.
Wait, so it's going to sweep you away day after day, morning after morning?
Death coming.
It's like it's going to be a repeating process that you're going to be swept away?
Not for each individual, but for the town.
okay.
He's talking to the town as a whole.
Right.
So he's like, death coming. Y'all gonna die.
Got it.
The plague is a coming.
I don't think anybody said this, though. Like, this just sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
It does, yeah. The understanding of this message will bring sheer terror. I'm not afraid, are you?
No.
I'm annoyed.
I mean, I'm, even in a biblical sense, even in canon here, I'm struggling with this actually being something that happened.
Right.
That it's not, this doesn't really fit my idea of what God has done or is doing.
Right.
Like, he's just, I don't know.
Well, I did forget to mention, yesterday was the end of that.
That little section.
24 through 27, I think.
Yeah.
Where he was just talking to that one group.
Right.
And now we're in the next little section, which is like 28 through, I don't know, like 34 or something like that.
Got it.
And he's just like saying some other shit.
No, I know. And I'm not saying that he hasn't said that he's going to kill people before. He has. It's just that this seems very petty. Like that. And again, not that he hasn't been petty before, but this just, I don't, this is so boring. Yeah. Like, you're punishing people for being drunk. Yeah. Okay.
Well, he's not just punishing them for being drunk. He's punishing them for being perpetually drunk, for being alcoholics, for turning to alcohol as a balm instead of turning to him. That's what the deal with this chapter is supposed to be. It's not just that they're drunk. It's the bigger picture.
Right.
The whole town is a fucking mess.
Okay.
The bed is too short to stretch out on, the blanket too narrow to wrap around you. The Lord will rise up as he did at Mount Perazim. Perazim? Sure. He will rouse himself as in the valley of Gibeon to do his work, his strange work, and perform his task. His alien task. Oh my God. God is an alien.
Strange tasks and alien tasks.
Strange and alien. That's what God is, all right.
Okay. All right. Now, it says right there. See, we can make a whole conspiracy theory of this.
There in the Bible.
God's an alien.
God's an alien.
That's what it is.
Said it in Isaiah.
Yep.
Done. Now stop your mocking, or your chains will become heavier.
My chains are just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. In fact, you know what? I haven't seen chains anywhere on me.
I got no chains.
I mock all the fucking time.
No, kid wears chains.
Yeah, they do.
What are those? The decorative.
The decorative chains, like the
ones that loop onto your pantses.
Right. I don't know what they call them. There must be a name for it.
Like, I always thought of them as like motorcycle gang chains.
Right.
But they wear them and they're cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, if it's not a style, it's a style for our kid at the very least.
Right.
So,
yeah. Our kid is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, stop your mocking or your chains will become heavier. The Lord Almighty, to be specific,
that one. Okay.
has told me of the destruction decreed against the whole land. Because don't forget, I'm Isaiah saying all this shit.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Listen and hear my voice. Pay attention and hear what I say. All right, now this next part is a parable. Okay. So, and I say that up front because that's what the notes say. I know how much you love them, but it doesn't specify as you're reading this. We are about to read a parable, but in my notes, I saw, this is where that parable starts.
Okay. Right. Yep.
When a farmer plows for planting, does he plow continually? Does he keep on breaking up and working the soil? When he has leveled the surface, does he not sow caraway and scatter cumin? Does he not plant wheat in its place, barley in its plot, and spelt in its field? His God instructs him and teaches him the right way.
Wait, his God teaches him how to farm?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Didn't you know?
I didn't know God taught farming.
I want to get in on that.
Right? That's like a trade skill.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that the specific things that are mentioned are caraway and cumin.
Right. They must have been popular items,
Well, I don't like caraway. I don't. I think it tastes gross. But I have cumin is one of the spices that I use regularly. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Well, there you go.
But that one and like garlic salt and
Right.
coriander seed.
Sure.
I love that.
Okay.
You know, coriander comes from the same plant as what is that stuff that you like?
That stuff that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Cilantro?
Cilantro.
Oh, okay.
Coriander and cilantro come from the same plant.
Wow.
One is the leaf and one is the seed.
Okay. All right.
Cool, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And so we use those regularly. And tarragon, I love me some tarragon.
Tarragon, take me away.
And the other spice that I use regularly, I heard you, I ignored you.
I know.
Is celery salt.
Okay.
I love celery salt.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, caraway is not threshed with a sledge. Duh.
Okay.
Nor is the wheel of a cart rolled over cumin. Duh. Caraway is beaten out with a rod and cumin with a stick.
Of course.
Everybody knows that.
Duh.
Cool. Grain must be ground to make bread. So one does not go on threshing it forever. Even if you have a threshing floor.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's saying, you have to know the proper steps and tools and times.
And apparently God can teach you these things.
God
you
will
just have
teach
to
you
sign
these
up for
things.
God
God
Farming
cooking
101.
class.
Yeah. And God cooking class is up too.
The wheels of a threshing cart may be rolled over it, but one does not use horses to grind grain.
No?
I guess not.
Okay. I didn't know. I doubt we use anything that they use to make grain these days.
Because you know why? Because this ain't the fucking BCE.
Right,
That's why.
Right.
All this also comes from the Lord Almighty, whose plan is wonderful, whose wisdom is magnificent. The end. Okay?
Okay.
Got it?
I have it. It's
Go on.
He's very vain, this
Oh,
God.
isn't he though?
He thinks that he does everything. And they claim throughout this book that God does everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you don't listen to him, that you die.
Right.
That's just basically like the whole theme of the fucking book.
Except that you die anyway, whether you listen to him or not.
Right. No, I mean that's fair. And apparently you can be evil or good and live a long life, or you can be evil or good and die quickly. It doesn't really fucking matter. That's all happened at certain points in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically people live and then they die, and they say there's a God. I say there's not. I guess we'll just, let it stand there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see any evidence thus far that points to any fucking God.
Mm-mm.
And I'm a little bit over this dude. He is a dick. He's a fucking asshole. He punishes people for stupid fucking reasons. He doesn't have any knowledge of how to actually people. Like, he can't function. Like, as a god, he's worthless. What
really strikes me is that people hang on to this stuff as though it's still relevant. The way that Supreme Court justices hold on to originalist Constitution stuff as though the forefathers understood that the internet was going to happen someday. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, people who talk about things from either 200, 2000, or 2 million years ago and say, nope, that's the way it was then, so that's the way it's got to be now.
Right.
That is so fucking asinine and backwards.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing good and proper about that.
No.
I don't understand. Don't you want better? Don't you want to grow? Don't you want to learn? Don't you want more?
I mean, I maybe that's what the New Testament's going to be. That's them growing and learning. I mean, that's what people tell me all the time.
We haven't read it yet, so sure, I'll leave room for that possibility. But I'm a doubter. I'm going to tell you that. I'm skeptical.
I'm definitely not convinced.
I'm not holding out much hope.
Right. So anyway, we're just rambling on now about bullshit. So that was Isaiah chapter 28.
It sure as fuck was.
And we will be back tomorrow with
Isaiah chapter 29.
We'll see you guys then.
Yep, bye.
Hey wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.